let's review where we are at this time. I'm going to come up here from my website and I'm going to go back to the tutorials, go to the second page, and let's look at our portfolio. Okay, we've already modeled this part right here. So the next step right now is to come up with a custom logo to map onto the surface of our part. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to use Adobe Illustrator to create a different logo than the one you see right here. So I've gone ahead and opened up Adobe Illustrator, and here it is. Adobe Illustrator looks very similar to Photoshop. Now you can do a few things here in the interface to kind of customize it the way you want. Like maybe you want to see all of your commands on one side. Well, my screen's not big enough, so I usually go with the double right here. That works just fine. Now, if you want to do a custom workspace or use a different workspace, you can come over here to Windows, Workspace, and then you can use all these different types here, like for layout and design, painting. You can do essentials, automation, typography. You can create all these different kinds. I actually went back and created a custom one for my painting layouts. So for what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work with the Essentials Classic, which I've worked with for years. It works out really well for me. So I'll just click on it, and if you need to, you can always reset your Classic, which I just did. Now let's create a new file real quick. So I'll come over here and I'm going to create a new file. And there's a lot of preset files you can work with. Like here's one that's horizontal, that's 11 by 8, which is an A size drawing. I've got all these different sizes here, all the way up to 48 inches by 24. Well, I got web sizes and all that stuff down here, different kind of print media. I've got just a ton of these different sizes. I'm just going to go with this one here, which is 11.5 by 8.5, 11 inches by 8.5. I've got it set to horizontal. And let's see what else. I'm using the color mode of CYMK, which stands for CYMK, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and K, which stands for black. I don't know why I use K, but it works for them. Go ahead and create that. That's going to create us a file. Now, once the file gets created, as you can see here, you can do several different things to zoom out. I'm going to show you how to zoom in. This is called panning. This is where I take my mouse here and actually it's just taking my mouse, my middle wheel, and rolling it up and down. If I hold my control key down, I can roll it left, right, and again take the control off, up, down. It's kind of nice. If I hit my space bar, it changes it to a hand, so I can drag it around here. I'm going to drag it up here, and now what I'm going to do is a Control 0, which goes full screen. Now, if you notice in the lower right, it says we're zoomed in at 79.58. If I do a Control 1, it zooms it all the way up to 100%. I'm going to do a Control 0 because I want to zoom out just a little bit. Okay, now you got all your tools over here in your tools palette to the left here. On Classic, you've got swatches, you've got color gradients, you've got the gradient command itself, you've got line stroke sizes, which is the width and thickness of your line, kind of like an AutoCAD. Then you've got here, which is graphic styles, where you can do different kind of graphic style layouts. I don't ever use that. And then down here you have this thing at the bottom, which is called Artboards. Okay, Artboards are like different sheets of paper. This is your asset export. Really never use that. And then I have over here my layers here that I'm working with. So I'm going to go ahead and select on layers, and on the first one I'm going to put down background. And this is going to be a temp layer. So I just put temporary there. Notice this blue right here, that's your highlight color. Now I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to create star. And I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to call it text. Okay, let's go back to the background for a second, and let's use some basic commands. I'm going to come over here to my toolbar over here. I can collapse this by hitting these double arrows. Come over here, and if you notice every command that has a little arrow in the lower right corner, that means it's a tear off menu, and there's other commands behind it. So I'm going to hold this down, and here's my direct selection tool, which I do use a lot. So I'm going to tear that off. Pull it over here. I use this one a lot too. This is my pen tool. Click on it and hold it. Come across here, and I'm going to tear that one off too. I do use a lot of commands on that. If you notice, they kind of magnetize, they snap to the edge like that. Nice. Here's my text tool. Let's tear that one off too. Let's look what's it. Oh gosh, there's so many text commands. Just pull that over here and we'll stick it up here. You know, I can move them around if I want, and if I need to, I can come back and I can create what's called a custom workspace here, And in fact, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to create a workspace, and I'm going to create a new workspace, and I'm going to call it Platts Logo. Put an apostrophe in there. I think it'll take an apostrophe. Okay. Hit OK. So now, if I want to, on my workspaces, I can come back here to workspaces. I can go back to, say, automation, and it changes everything here. It's kind of different. Never used that one, actually. Go back over here to workspaces, and there's my, whoops, let's go back over here. Workspaces. I'll come over here to Essentials Classic, puts it back there. And it remembered my last means by which I used it. And I'm going to come back over here again to, let's see here, Platts Logo. There it is. Go to that, so it puts it back up here, just like I had. That works out real well. Now, let's do a couple of things real quick over here on color. You got this black here. That's your stroke color. That's the outline color of your, or object color of your part, or your logo you're designing. You got your fill color. I'm going to double click on fill, and here I can change my fill color to red. Okay, looks pretty good. And I'm going to change my stroke color over here. Go back to my, my highlight color. See where it says blue? I'll double click. Oops, double click out here, and see I set to blue now. I'm going to change that to, let's go find yellow. There's yellow down at the bottom. We'll go with that. Okay, now we've got that done. Now you got these pen tools up here. Let's set the pen tool here, and let's just draw some shapes. Now if you notice, it shows up in yellow, and you still see the black background there. And that little circle pops up, it closes off that shape. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to come over here to my swatches, and I'm going to select, since I still have this selected, I'm going to turn it to light blue. Okay, there it is, light blue. Now I'm going to come over here to stroke, and I'm going to increase the size of that stroke to maybe 4. And now you see a bigger stroke. Let's go all the way up to 8. Okay, so you can kind of see that a little bit better. Collapse that. Now you got these two up here, and you got this one here. If I do this one and click out here, it deselects this. All right. If I come over here and I select this one, direct select, I can individually select one of these. And if I select it, I can play with it. I can stretch it. I can pull it in. I can do all kind of weird things with it. Okay. Now, if I come up here and I select this one and then select the anchor point tool, I can come over here using my control key, switch back and forth. See? Switch back and forth. So if I hold it down and I click on this, it highlights just this one and not these over here. Then I can drag it, and I get these handles. If I come out here and click out here, it deselects it, and I'll select this one here. Okay. And I can twist that. Okay. And I'm going to come back to this. If I use my control key and I roll over, see how it selects that right there? Now, holding this key down, I select one of these. I'm just moving that. I'll do a control Z. Okay. I can do this here. So I've changed this. It's kind of nice. Now if I want, I can come back here to my black one here and select this. Select my gradient. And I can start and draw a line like this all the way up to the top. Okay, we'll do that one later. But anyway, you get the idea. So now I'm going to come back over here to layers. Hit delete. I'll click on this, deselect that, go to layers, and I can turn that layer off. Turn it back on. Turn it off. Turn it back on. If I just want to see the line work and I don't want to see anything else, I can do a control Y. Okay? I can see just that. Or I can come up here to view and I can just see outline. Same thing. View. And here it says control Y again. Okay? Go ahead and hit that. Out here and do control Y. And there you see the artwork. Well, let's get busy drawing our star. So I'm going to lock this layer, come up here to star. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to this particular thing, hold it down. I got all these commands. Let's tear that one off too. Okay, come back to workspace, and I will, it's going to stay the same because I've already set it there once. So we'll go ahead and we'll get out of that. Hit answer. Now this time I can come over here on this layer and I can start just drawing shapes. Now again, I can change my fill color to yellow, and maybe I'll change my outline color to purple. Oops, that's my fill color right there. So we'll go back to yellow. We'll come over here and click on this, and we'll go to our fill color here, and our line color here, and I'll change it to purple. Okay, so I got purple there. Looks pretty good. Now let's go back to layers for a second. If I take this layer here, I can drag it down below that, and now as you can see, it placed it behind it. Okay, I can drag it ahead here, and now it placed it in front of it. That's really nice. Now I've got other commands up here. I've got my circle, my edge here, and I can take these and I can change those to like that if I want. And let's go ahead and change that color there to, let's go something like this. Okay, kind of a pinkish color. Change our outline color to, let's go down here to yellow. Hit OK. And now I can drag this around. If I look here, I'm on top of that, as you can see. Go back over here to layers. I have now this little arrow. It's called sublayers. I can take this sublayer here and drag this one down below it, and now it's behind it. It's kind of nice. I like that. Okay. Now we said we were going to draw a star. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my black arrow, select this one, and hit my delete key, delete it. Grab that one, delete key, and delete it. Or I could have done this. I could have just done a polygon around it, hit delete key. It didn't delete this one because this layer is locked. Okay, so we got our star here. Let's draw a circle. Normally if I draw a circle, it comes in as an ellipse like this. Okay, I don't like that. So I'll do Control Z. If I hold my Shift key down, it comes in as a circle like that. That's kind of nice. I don't like that either. If I hold my Alt key and Shift key, it comes out of the middle like that. I like that a lot. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now let's change some things. Let's go back over here to Stroke, put a slash through it because I don't want an outline color. Let's go over here to this, come back over here to Palettes, and I want to go with dark brown. So now I have that color. Now if I want to, I can copy this by doing a Edit, Copy, Edit. Now I can place it in the back or I can place it in the front. I'm just going to say Paste right here. Now if I look up here and I come over here to Properties, you can see my size. Well, I'm going to make that, I'm going to turn this chain on where it links these two together. I'll make that 2 inches. Oh, select that off. So 2 inches. And now it made this bottom one 2 inches. Pretty cool. If I click on this one though, it's back to the other size because I copied it. And this one, I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to say 2.75 inches. Whoops, Control A. 2.75. Because it's chained, I'll hit my Tab key. Now it's huge. Well, that's too big. Let's do this. Hit delete key and go 1. Okay. Now, let's drag these two over here. I want to put them on top of each other. Okay, that's still kind of big. Let's go over here to hit my delete key. I'm going to say 375 for 3/8. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Now, if you notice, these two are overlapped. If you can't see them, do a Control Y. Okay, now you can see them. I'm going to select this one here too. Hold my Shift key down. Now I got these two selected. I can come up here to the right here where it says Align, or I can come over here to my Align pop up here. And what I'm going to do is align them by center. I'm going to align them by middle. That's pretty cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the default here, select this guy, hit the default. Now I can't see this thing behind it, so I'm going to select these two, come over here to object, come down here to compound path make, and now I can see the thing behind it. That's kind of cool. If I drag this, the circle stays with it. Okay, we'll put it right there. Now I've got this star command. If I do the star, hold my shift key down, it comes in like this. That looks pretty cool. I'll drag that and place it on top here. It's kind of big, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my E key, which is this guy right here, free transform, hold my shift key down, scale it down. That's kind of centered up. And probably on star, the best thing to do is hold your is come up here and hold this and your shift key, and we'll line those up on center. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now we got this star drawn. What I'm going to do is take these two objects here, and I'm going to edit, and excuse me, I'm going to go object, and I'm going to group these two. So now they're a group. Now I can take and move them around. Whoops, they didn't work. Let's go back Control Z. Hold our shift key down, edit, group. Click out here to the side. Now it's all one group. Pretty cool. Okay. Next thing we want to do now is place some text. Come out here and place some text. So it puts this little text box in here, and I'm going to key in, we're going to key in SolidWorks. Okay. I'm going to highlight that. Oops, created another one. Do a Control Z. I'm going to highlight this. And now let's kill some of these windows. Collapse that. Collapse that. And what I want to do now, since I'm in text over here, I'm going to increase the size of it. So I'm going to go all the way up to 72. That's pretty big. I'm going to drag it over here so I can see a little bit better. And over here I got these different font types I can use. I can do SolidWorks like that. That looks pretty cool. I like that. And then I can come down here and I can select something kind of funky looking like that. Kind of like that too. Or I can come back here and I can scroll down here and find some of the old ones. Scroll up here. And I'm going to go down here to one called, should be on your computer at school. Let's go find Bank Gothic. Yeah, I kind of like that one. I'm going to go with the bold. All right, that looks nice. So as you can see, I got the uppercase here and lowercase here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and place another text, and I think it should remember my last size. This time I'm going to key in R, and I'm going to get out of that. Now I like the color of this over here, so I'm going to go get my eyedropper tool, and it changed it to this color. Nice. We'll just kind of put it over here like this. Now I can come over here and hit my text tool again, and I'm going to key in P. It's kind of small. Probably should make it a bigger one. Let's see how big it is. Oh, it is small. We got to make it bigger. So what I'm going to do here is just hit my delete key, text again. I'm going to hold my shift key down, and I'm going to key in P. All right, see how that looks. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to line these up here like this. I'm going to hold my, then I'll use my arrow key. Oh, it's black. Go get my eyedropper. And since I already done this one, I'll change the color. Oh, can't see it anymore. But you still see this line right here. So I'll just keep going. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go copy. I'm going to show you a few things real quick. And I'm going to copy this over here. Whoops. Control Z. Copy. I'll do a, hold my Alt key down. Drag. I got a second one. Now what I want to do is come up here to type. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create outlines. So now it's no longer text. So if I want now, I can grab these control bars and I could do this. It's kind of neat. If I want, I can come over here and select this guy here, grab that, click out here to the side, grab that point, pull it up there like that, do that. Or I can use this key and this key, and I can select him. I can do that. I come back a second time, I can do something like this. So you got all kind of ways to control this and make different kind of things if you want. We don't want any of that. So what we want to do is we just go ahead and delete these. I'll select that one, hit delete. This one, hit delete. Now what I want to do is I want to pull this back over here. I want to make sure that this guy and this guy are aligned correctly. So go back to Window, go back to Align, and make sure that they are aligned correctly, and that fixed that. Now what I want to do is come back up here to Type and create outlines of that, so I don't have to worry about text. Looks pretty good. I like it. So now I'll take this, and I'll create another group. Okay, and now I can drag this around like that. Now let's come back over here real quick to layers. On my layers I had my text over here, so we'll hit this pull down. Now if you want to, let's see if we can do panel options here. Kind of set it medium, so I'm going to go to large, hit OK. Now they're bigger. So I'll come down here to this guy and this guy holding my shift key down, and I'm going to drag them up to text. So now they're up to text, but see the green outline here? Right here? It's still that. Now I'm going to click off here to the side. I'm going to grab that. Now it's no longer part of that group. Do a Control Z. I can select this one, go back to Object, hit Group, and now it's all part of the same group. It's pretty cool. Now we don't need this layer here anymore, so I'm going to select him, hit Delete. Yes, I do want to delete that. So now it's gone. There's our logo. So let's go ahead and save our file. And I'm going to call this logo number 2. Now I want to say 2020, that's fine. Hit OK. Now I want to export legacy, and we want to be set to ping. Now normally you'll come up to JPEG. We don't want that. We want to be set to a ping, PNG. Got to set there. Hit save, and we'll export that out and hit save. Alright, that's pretty good. So now we use Adobe Illustrator to create our logo that we're going to map to SolidWorks. I like it.